To divide fractions, I like to use the common denominator method. So we need to first change our fractions so they have common denominators, which means the common denominator in this problem is a half, or I'm sorry, into fourths. So that means I have to change my half so that it's fourths. And I'll do that by timesing both the numerator and denominator by 2. So now I have the problem 2 and 2/4 divided by 3/4. And division is just seeing how many groups of 3/4 I can make out of 2 and 2/4. I'm going to draw a picture that represents 2 and 2/4. So I'm going to shade in 2 complete rectangles, and the last rectangle will only be 2 out of the 4. Now we're going to do our groupings. I want groups of 3. So right now I have 10 pieces. I have 10 fourths. So right now I have 10 fourths. And I'm trying to see how many groups of 3/4 I can make. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. That's a group. 1, 2, 3. That's a group. 1, 2, 3. That's a group. 1, 2, 3. And that's a group. So you can see that in my circles, I have 3 complete groups. Now my last group right here, out of those 3, only one of them is shaded in. So I can make 3 full groups and a third of the last group is shaded in. And that would be my answer. Essentially what we're doing is we're looking at our numerators and saying if I have 10 of something and I'm trying to break it into groups of 3, we're just doing 10 divided by 3, which is the same as 10 divided by 3 like this. And we should know that changing this improper fraction into a mixed number looks like this. All right, let's take a look at this one. We're going to use the common denominator method. So I have thirds and sixes, which means 6 will be my common denominator. So I'm going to change my 2/3 into 6s. And I'd get 4/6. So I'm doing 3 and 4/6 divided by 5/6. So when I draw my picture, I will have 3 rectangles. Those will be completely shaded in. My last rectangle won't be fully shaded in. So I'm going to get into 6s. And we'll do some shading. So like I said, 1, 2, 3, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6. So that's what our picture looks like. If we think about how many pieces I have, how many 6 I have 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I have 22 6, and I'm trying to see how many groups of 5 6 I can make. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a group of 5. That's a group of 5 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's going to get a little tricky over here at the end because I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't have enough picture drawn. So I'm actually going to draw in another rectangle and break it into 6s so that I can count one more piece, because it takes 5 6 to be in a group. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this last one there is 5. So we look at how many complete groups we have, how many of these red circles are completely shaded in, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that are completely shaded in. Now this last group here that I circled, not all 5 out of the 5 pieces are shaded in. Only 2 out of the 5 are shaded in. Again, we're essentially doing this division. We have 22 pieces and we're getting them into groups of 5, which would be 22 divided by 5, which is 4 2/5. Go ahead and give this one a shot, and then we'll look at the video for it. Alright, so our common denominator will be 12s. So I need to change my 2/3 into 12s. And I would end up with 8 12s. So I have 3 7 12s divided by 8 12s. Alright, I'm going to hit pause and draw my picture because 12s are going to be a little bit more lengthy to draw. Alright, so I've got my picture, and we would shade in all 12 of these, all 12 of these, all 12 of these to make 3 holes, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We would only shade in 7 of those last ones. So if we think about how many little pieces we have, I've got 12 here, another 12, another 12, so I've got 36, plus another 7, so I've got 43 little pieces of 12s, and we're seeing how many groups of 8 I can make. Okay, so we're going to look at counting off. It takes 8 of these little pieces to make a group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those get grouped together there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so if I look at those circles that are completely shaded in, I've got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups. My last group of 8 is not fully shaded in, only 3 are shaded in, so 3 8s. And hopefully that makes sense to us, because again, we have 43 pieces and we're trying to get them into groups of 8, so we're trying to see how many times 8 will go into 43. So that's this, 43 divided by 8. As a mixed number, it looks like this. Alright, let's use the common denominator method. This one I'm not going to draw a picture because you're going to notice that the common denominator here is 20ths, so that gets a little bit time consuming to draw. So we've got 3/4 and 2/5. So we'll times this by 5 to get to 20. So this becomes 15 20ths. And this times this by 4. And that becomes 8 20ths. So we end up with 1 and 15 20ths divided by 8 20ths. So if I was to draw a picture of this, I'd have one full group. This one right here is essentially 20 out of 20. And then I'd have another bar where only 15 out of the 20 are shaded in. So this problem is essentially 35 20ths divided by 8 20ths. So we have 35 pieces and we're trying to figure out how many groups of 8 we can make. We are doing this division, 35 divided by 8, which can look like this. So we're saying how many times does 8 go into 35? So we just have to kind of think. I know that 8 times 4 is 32. So I know it can go in 4 full times. That gets me to 32. 33, 34, 35. There's 3 left over, so 3/8. And that would be our answer.